We're looking back at some of my most memorable assignments. Some of them took me to another continent. In 2011, I traveled to Africa to share the story of the Amani Children's Foundation, a nonprofit based here in Winston-Salem. The organization works to help abandoned babies in Kenya. While we were there, we visited 5 orphanages helped by the work of Amani. The foundation, started by Dr. Jane Stevens, sells merchandise made in Kenya, with all proceeds going to support the children in New Life homes, most of whom are eventually adopted. Alaska has always been high on my long bucket list of places to visit, and in 2017, my dream came true with a trip to the last frontier. I was blessed to host about 45 WXII viewers, some of them living out their dreams after difficult periods of struggle. We travel across the state from Fairbanks to Anchorage and charming towns in between. Everything about Alaska is grand and spectacular, from magnificent mountains to glorious glaciers. It is a vast wonderland of nature, a welcoming place that speaks for itself and leaves its guests gazing silently in awe. In 2018, we were off to Italy, a place for lovers young and old, and there was so much to love at every turn. The history of medieval towns, the beautiful rolling hillsides, the masterpiece that is Michelangelo's David, the majesty of historic churches, the posturing presence of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the captivating coastline of the Mediterranean Sea, exquisite food and excellent wine abundant everywhere we dined. The most moving moment during our trip happened here at the Florence American Cemetery, when veterans from the Triad were invited to participate in a flag ceremony at the end of the day. Last year, we traveled almost 10,000 miles to the land down under. It was billed as the wonders of Australia, and wonder we did. Everything about Australia was uniquely beautiful. The iconic landmark, the Sydney Opera House, the Aboriginal Cultural Park, where we learned how to throw a spear and a boomerang, and a ride to remember in a helicopter over the Great Barrier Reef. It was quite simply breathtaking. Australia was full of all kinds of wonderful surprises, from bold birds to cuddly koalas and curious kangaroos. In our next half hour, I'll introduce you to one of the most inspiring people I've met in all my years of reporting. Show you what happens when someone decides to teach me how to play basketball. And I'll tell you about some of the people who made the biggest impact on my life and career.